Tonight, the city of Lagos waits at dark as all routes.
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa, we break the news.
We are one Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV,
24-hour news station.
It's a great day. Good morning once again, and welcome to Court Digest Wednesday edition. I say a big thank you to you for making our time to be part of it. We're reaching you from the Center of Excellence, Nigeria's commercial capital, the city of Lagos, and it's a wet Wednesday morning in the city of Lagos. The rains are here, and there's very little we can do about that. All we can do is learn to manage what nature has given us. At the end of the day, all things turn out the best for those who know how to make the best of the way things turn out. So we're going to have to make the best of the weather and the season. I'm Tolu or Jewumi. So we're learning to make the best of the way things turn out so that all things can turn out the best way for us. And that's why we want to see how best the governorship election in OSUN State, Saturday, August 9, will turn out. How many more days to go now? If you do a countdown, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you see, 3 days to go, OSUN 2014. Wow. The first segment of the show today, we'll be looking at the security of that election, the security surrounding that election, the security of lives and property towards that election. And maybe I should say before, during, and after that election. OSUN 2014, watertight security. That's what we want to look at in the first segment of the show. Now, my guest is Dr. Femi Adegbolu, Associate Professor, History and International Relations, Redeemers University, and is a security expert. Hi, Femi.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I say a big thank you to you for making our time to be part of the show.
Thank you.
Yes, security is everybody's business. It's something I like to tell people from time to time. Security is not something that we leave to the experts alone. We should let the experts like you educate us and inform us so that we know what to do. We have a whole lot of things to discuss on security today, but just before we hit the ground running, we want to set the boat rolling with this video on security from the Inspector General of Police, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Abba. Have a look at this, and when we come back, we'll hit the ground running on the show. Stay with us.
What guarantee are you going to give? Are going to be free and fair? They're not going to be...
By the time I took over on Friday, I made an operational order in place. I went through it quickly. I made a number of adjustments, which include the fact that we need to be there early enough. So I adjusted the time that the officers were directed to report. I made sure that by Saturday they were there. And the aim is that if anyone is training anybody to cause violence, we are telling him that we will make sure the law takes its course.
Now, you saw that video. You want to comment on it?
Yeah, I'll comment on that. But before then, let me correct an impression. You said in your prologue that security is everybody's business. Well, I like to say that security awareness is everybody's responsibility. There are people whose business is security. Those are the security practitioners. Okay. From what he said, yeah, security is very important, especially in an electoral situation like this. But there are times that security will become a security problem. So if you have too much of security in an area, for instance, you know, too much now. So it may become a security problem on its own. Because the people that are supposed to vote may become intimidated, depending on what the duties of the security men and women there are doing. So that is just what I want to say. But you see, the militarization of a particular place like OSUN, as we see today, to some of us is very, very unsavory because politics should not be run this way. We should get to a point where our people should be able to trust their leaders, leaders trust their people to do the right thing. Now, if at this time and at this age, for instance, we are still militarizing a particular zone because election is coming on, gubernatorial election for that matter, it shows that it's a do or die affair. Why should you militarize the area because of election? It simply means that certain people are not trusted. It's either party A is not trusted or party B is not trusted, or even the people themselves are not trusted. But for how long are we going to continue this militarization of area because of politics? Now, look, if you take statistics of the number of military, individuals that are there in OSUN now, you want to be asking your question. This is the same country where we have some states that are under emergency. You wonder how many military men are on ground there to checkmate the major problem we have right now, which is an insurgency. How many military men are there in Sambisa Forest, for instance, and all the other local governments to make sure that things like the Chibok incident does not happen? So it's on that premise I would like to say that militarization of electoral atmosphere is, to me, is not very pleasant enough. But security is very vital to any election. But police, yes, that's their major duty. But when you begin to see army, navy, and all kinds of these things because of election, you begin to wonder to what extent to what purpose is all this? So
Okay,
that's my perspective.
I really appreciate your submission. I quickly just say that I want to take you up on something you said, but just before that, when we say security is everybody's business, we mean it's everybody's concern.
Yeah.
Concern, do you understand? So that's to go by being everybody's business.
Okay.
Concern.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Now, you said too much security. How can there be too much security?
Yes. Too much security, for instance, when you have people who are not supposed to be there. I don't see any rationale behind mobilizing soldiers. I mean, mobilizing soldiers because of election. They are not civilian, for instance. Electoral affair is a civil affair, okay? It's a civilian atmosphere where everybody is supposed to go and exercise his or her franchise. Police supposed to guide people. This is how to do it, apart from the INEC officials. Police to make sure that no trouble occurs anywhere. That's the duty of the police. But when you begin to see soldiers, I mean, fierce-looking soldiers with guns and all this, you begin to wonder what is happening here. Are we in a state of war? So that's why I say too much security is a security problem on its own. People can get frightened. People can get intimidated. People say, no, in this era of this, I don't want to even go near any soldier or whatever. Some people have this phobia for, people in uniform, particularly those whose duty is to fight war, not to protect people, but to fight war. What are they doing there? That's my problem. It's not supposed to be like that. Somebody may fault me and say, well, because of brigandade and all that. Who are the causes of this brigandade? The politicians. So we should be able to hold our, politicians, responsible for any kind of something like that. The government in place should be able to caution, and the politician. I mean, when I say caution now, without hypocrisy. Not that you are saying something else, then your body language you say something. Not that you are only a kind of a reading riot act to the opposition. What about your own party? Are they saints? So that is the problem we have here, hypocrisy. So when somebody in power is talking tough about, we are not going to tolerate it, we make sure that we don't allow this state of OSUN to be, to bring in thugs or miscreants and all these things. You are talking like that because you are focusing on the opposition or maybe one party. What about your own party? What about thugs in your party? What about politicians in your party who don't tolerate others? I mean, that's the situation we see in OSUN right now. A situation where, I do not have any grudge with the political party or maybe the federal government in Abuja, having concern about what is happening in Osun State because their party man is involved, okay? But when you now bring the whole governance, you now bring the whole seat of power to a particular location, it will be intimidating to the people who are there to vote. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I hope there will be a free and fair situation in OSUN. I'm not a supporter of any party. I'm not a politician. I'm just a political analyst, and I analyze based on facts before me and antecedents.
Okay, now talking about antecedents, a lot of Nigerians, not just you, did not support militarizing elections in Nigeria. But then antecedents too have proven over the years that Nigerians respect the army more than the police. Nigerians comport themselves. You know, Nigerians can be very polite and obedient only when you involve the army. Why?
But that's wrong. That's giving a very wrong impression of us that we are ungovernable and that we are very heady and we are not civil. And that's very, very wrong impression to create, even not only to those of us who have enlightened mind, but to international community, that until we are forced, we cannot do the right thing.
So
It is wrong.
how was that impression created in the first place?
No, it is the same politicians. You see, there is no area boy or any miscreant who can just go out of his way to go and cause mayhem.
Okay, politicians created that impression.
Create that impression, not only impression, the politicians create the atmosphere, thereby creating the impression. Because when a particular group goes out to cause mayhem, for instance, they don't just do it. They do it because somebody is somewhere there telling them, this is the person you unleash the mayhem on, this is the person you... Because that is their paymaster. The paymasters are not always seen. Because they are not always seen, the government does not focus on them. The government now focuses on the people they see on ground, the foot soldiers. The problem is not with the foot soldiers, the paymasters, who could be a member of Party A or Party B. That is the problem, and they are politicians. They are the Babasale. So that is the issue. The government should deal with such people, not just making empty noise on television. You deal with it, you deal with it. What about those you know that are fanning the embers of violence? Have you dealt with them? That is the issue. Hypocrisy all the time. By this time in our political history, we have been able to identify such troublemakers. Those who are somewhere, who are not always visible, but they fan the embers of violence. They know themselves. They should be able to caution them. Like he spoke in Washington yesterday, I think our president, that they are not going to tolerate, that it's going to be free and fair, they will not tolerate rigging and all that. That is statement that everybody hears. But what about the body language that we do not hear, that only the sensitive mind will read meanings to? We want your body language and the real language to speak the same thing. Let us see your men there being civil. Let us see them, you understand what I'm saying? No rigging, because even the rigging these days has gone beyond rigging on election day. There is pre-election rigging, you know, inter-election rigging and post-election rigging. But the way I see it now, where except people really open their eyes very, very well, you know, they might not see the pre-election rigging. People will just go there to fulfill all righteousness, but the real voting has been done.
And then, so you believe in the saying that the more you look, the less you see?
Exactly. And that is why some of us are afraid that even the militarization, because we often now, is federal that still controls the police, it's federal that controls the army. So when you see the militarization, you now begin to wonder, whose bidding will the military do?
I would have wanted you to talk a little about pre-election rigging, election rigging, post-election rigging, but I do not want us to digress. Then, what's your impression, since you started talking about impressions anyway, what's your impression about the Nigerian police?
My impression about the Nigerian police is simply summarized by using this word, that he who pays the pipers calls the tune. Because it's the federal government right now that pays the pipers, okay? They call the tune. Now, and that is why I said initially that some of the worries some of us have is the fact that the federal government still controls the police. Because the federal government controls the police, federal government can give directive to the police. So this is what I want you to go and do there. No more, no less. You understand what I'm saying? And the police will definitely do the bidding of the paymaster. So that's the problem. That's the problem. You see, until we are able to have maybe state police or the central police is honest enough to make sure that they do their job that they are constitutionally assigned to do without really, you know, pampering to somebody's because the president is the, also, so until then, we don't, my confidence in the central police is not very strong.
Okay.
Now,
Now,
based on antecedent, we all know.
so you want state police?
Oh, sure.
I'm going to take you up on that, but just before that, let me read this to you. The security siege imposed on Osun in recent days has introduced a new flip to Osun gubernatorial politics. Hundreds of Oshogbo residents trooped out on hearing that Aregbesola was observing Jumet at Quarry Mosque at Okebale area of Oshogbo. The situation outside the mosque had become another mega rally before Ogbeni finished the Jumat prayers. The mammoth crowd brought brooms from their various homes. The brooms wielding crowd, which consists largely of elderly women and Okada riders, were saying, Aregbe, no shaking, no to democracy at gunpoint. Tell them to go to Chibok. Oromio, Lekonsi, amongst others. Obviously, they weren't happy about the presence of the military in the state. Now, you want state police, and you do not want the military either, like most of the residents in Osun State. But then, at the moment, your confidence in the Nigerian police is shaky. So what would you advise? Your confidence in the Nigerian police is shaky at the moment. You do not want the military. What do you want at the moment?
Well,
And we do not have state police at the moment. So what do you want?
is the police that is unbiased? Is the police that is, that we perform the constitutionally assigned duties?
Femi, we have 3 days to go.
Okay.
We do not have the kind of police that you want. We do
Okay.
not have your dream police. You do not want the military. We do not have state police that you want. We do not have the ideal police that you want. What do you advise as a security expert?
It's really a problem for Nigeria that we always allow situations to come and choke us before we find solution. We do not take any proactive measure to anything. That accounts for why we allow Ebola victims to enter Nigeria. That allows for a reason why Chibok girls are still there, because initially Nigerian government was living in denial as to whether Boko Haram was even an entity or not, another. So we don't take proactive action. This one also, there is no proactivity, and that's what we are talking about now. We are already 3 days to go and all that. So is the only solution militarization? And now we are we are boxed ourselves in the corner now to think that the only solution is militarization because we fail to plan.
Okay.
And that's why it is said that when people fail to plan, they plan to fail. It's always like that with Nigeria. We never learn lesson from anything. We never learn. You see, all other countries are learning from their history. They are making improvement and going to the moon, shaking the earth and all these things. We are still where we are because we refuse to learn. It's very unfortunate indeed. Now you're asking me, what are we going to do 3 days hence? You all busting me into corner too, because I have no solution to what is happening now. You seem to be telling me that the only way where we will not have brigandage in Osun now is by militarization.
I haven't said that, Femi.
Okay. I am just getting some insinuation, because if we ask the army to go now, it's like as if the election might not hold well if the army goes. Well, if you say so, I will not blame you, because even the police on ground, I do not trust them to be able to do thorough job or being able to, making sure that people who will cause problem are kept aloof. So these are issues now. We are finding ourselves in this situation. Maybe we should be talking about next one. Perhaps Nigerian government will learn a lesson from it. Now you can't ask the army to go.
Okay, maybe we should be talking about the next one. Maybe we should be talking about the next one. So you're losing hope.
We're already here now.
So you're losing hope that we cannot have an election free of violence in Osun State on Saturday?
No, with the army there, maybe we are not likely to have violence.
Okay.
But there may be intimidation.
Oh.
Like you see them already protesting. You see, normally, if you go to some of these developed climes, if you stay there for 2-3 weeks, you may not even see any soldier on the street throughout your stay in the US. You may not see a soldier. You may not even know their uniform. Because what's their business in the town? You get what I'm saying?
I saw a soldier just once in the UK throughout my stay,
okay,
just once.
Okay, just once. That's it. In the US, sometimes, maybe except there is an occasion, maybe they are moving to a particular, you will not see a soldier on this thing. But here we are used to these soldiers, and we know what they do. We know they are not normally, they are not civilian. That's why the other time you saw what happened to BRT and all that. So that's just one of the cases. So normally, the duty of soldiers are not to be within the town and be hobnobbing with civilians. You understand what I'm saying? So they are not civilian. They are military. So when you now see a militarization of a civilian activities, that's where the problem lies. That's why the people are protesting. We are not used to you. We are not used to your ways. If it is police, okay, we know police is our people. We can relate to them one-on-one. But we can't relate with soldiers.
Okay, now we cannot relate with soldiers like we do relate with the police.
Yeah.
But then on Saturday, in 3 days' time, we have to relate with them. How
we are being forced to relate with them.
So in this case, now I said earlier, remember I said earlier that all things turn out the best for those who know how to make the best of the way things turn out.
Yeah.
So what's your advice to the electorate in OSUN on Saturday? Because they have to relate with the army.
Sure, by force. It's by force of arm. They have to relate because when you see arm, when you see guns, for instance, you have to behave yourself. You know, sometimes you may underact. You understand? Yeah, you will underact. You know, sometimes out of intimidation, you don't know what to do. You see gun-wielding people, you know, instructing you, go here, go here. Sometimes you may not even thumbprint where. You may not even know the person out of intimidation. You may not even know the person to thumbprint. What about if they go there and instruct you, do this? I mean, if somebody goes there with a gun, for instance, I say, you know, you thumbprint here. So those old women, for instance, who are afraid of, but they just see that they have to vote because it's their civic responsibility and they are going there. And somebody is wielding gun. You know what I'm saying. So it's just not the best. To militarize a civilian atmosphere, it is wrong. All over the world, it is wrong. Look at all elections all over the world. Why is our own different? That's my problem. Why?
Femi, you just scared me. So there's even the possibility of a soldier saying,
thumbprint here. Yes, when you see gun, I'm telling you the truth. That is why it's not good for that atmosphere at all. I wish they would be able to behave themselves very well and not intimidate people. But even though their presence alone speaks volume of intimidation. Yes.
Okay, now, Femi, we are beginning to let's take a window into the next one or into 2015, because this is almost close to home. Yeah. In fact, it's close to home. Yeah. So let's take a window into 2015. I hope by then we would have either state police or the ideal police that we dream of. But then what would you have advised in place of militarizing elections in Nigeria?
Actually, what I would advise, not just police now, but the politicians. And when I say politicians, again, I will also extend it further to the rate at which, you know, to the pedestal to which we have raised politics. Politics seems to be the only business that guarantees an individual who is from, you know, who is so inconsequential and insignificant from becoming billionaire.
From grass to grace. Overnight
you don't
grass
call that
to
grace. You don't call that grace. That's not grace. Whatever. I don't know. I lack the word. It can't be grass to grace. Money you acquire by force of arm, money you acquire fraudulently. You know, politicians are the wealthiest. How did they get the money? They are supposed to serve the people. But because we have raised politics to that pedestal that everybody eyes politics because it is only when you get to become a billionaire, your business will not run well if you are not a politician. You can't get the normal promotion if you are not a politician. If you don't know somebody who is the National Assembly as a graduate, you can't get a job. What kind of politics is that? It is because we have raised politics to that extent that everybody wants to be a politician by a hook or by crook. In fact, see our politics today, many of the people who are going there, if you do a statistic of so many of the big-time politicians and even aspiring politicians, many of them have failed in their businesses. Many of them have failed in their businesses. And they want to, when they have failed in their business, they want to run our country successfully. It's not possible. If you fail, if you are a business failure, so you cannot be a political success. So that's just it. But you see, because we have put the right thing at the background, then we are pursuing mirage, and that's why we have all kinds of characters, you know, becoming politician, becoming governor, becoming representative and all that, and people are fighting to be there because there is just so much unaccountable money there to be spent. How do you account for an average, you know, National Assembly member cutting away every quarter 30 million? In 1 year, how much will that be? About 400 and something million.
Femi, let me quickly put this to you. You are a security expert. if you get a letter or an invitation from the Lagos State Governor or the President to come take up an appointment as a security advisor to either of them,
Yes.
Would you want to serve Nigeria or
Sure.
Lagos State?
Sure. I will serve in my capacity as an expert in security.
Okay, so in that case, would you say that all politicians or majority of politicians in Nigeria were running failed businesses before coming into politics?
No, I didn't say all.
Or many of them?
Yeah, I said if you take statistics, many of them who are rushing to politics now have failed.
I said many of them.
Yes, many. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So that means we cannot say a majority of them, because at the end of the day, we do not even have the statistics.
No, we don't have the statistics. For instance, you see those who are making success of their political offices now. You just mentioned somebody now. Of course, everybody knows him. I mean, if even a blind man will feel the impact of his governance in Lagos. You may not even see, but if you are here, you feel governance.
Okay, let's
come. We still have people like that.
Because we have to take a break at 10 o'clock, do news on the hour, and then move on to other things on the show, other segments, and then release you to go face the day and have a great Wednesday. Now, let's quickly home it on the electorate. Let's home it in on the electorate now. How could the electorate in OSUN on Saturday be one another's brothers' keepers, and then ensure that indeed they take security as everybody's concerned?
Yeah. First of all, the duty that they are to do there, the very main concern they have on Saturday, is that they go by their conscience.
They go by their conscience?
Yes, go by your conscience. You know, go and vote according to your conscience, according to what you can see, according to what you can feel, according to what you have heard, according to what you know. Okay, not because somebody has bought you a bag of rice or has promised you money or has even given you money.
So they shouldn't take all those things?
You may take the money. The money is yours in the first place. The money is theirs. That have been, you know, hoarded away from them all this while. But politics has brought the money out. Let them take the money.
Okay, they should take the money.
Take the money, but yeah, go and vote according to your conscience. Not because of the money you have taken. Because it is when you know something, it's easier for you to act. It is good for them to know that the money that any politician spent on them belongs to them in the first place. How can you, a salary earner, for instance, go and be spreading money? You know it's not possible. That's why abroad there, you don't see them holding parties, spraying money, because it's hard-earned money. But politicians who have got this money by way or any way, the money is in their pocket. The money that is supposed to be to improve the welfare of the people in the first place is stuck in their pocket. If they now bring it out during election to spend for their own people, I mean, what crime is that? Let them take the money, but go and vote according to your conscience.
You've been watching and listening to Dr. Femi Adegbolu, Associate Professor, History and International Relations, Redeemers University, our security expert on the show today on the first segment. Remember, all things turn out the best for those who know how to make the best of the way things turn out. Thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure today. Thanks for having me.
We'll take a break, bring you news of the hour, and when we come back, we'll move to other things. Still our focus this morning on Court Digest, OSUN 2014, 3 days to go. Stay with us.
On August 9th, the people of OSUN will head to the polls. Who will emerge the next governor of OSUN State?
I'm the legitimate authority to govern this state.
20 candidates are hoping for the mantle.
Winning is not the problem, but the grace of God.
But only the people have the power to decide.
These are my people who will vote en masse for Omishori.
Join Core TV News for an extensive live coverage of the elections, interviews, studio discussions, and more. Live on August 9th, 2014. You can also watch us live online at www.coretvnews.com. Core TV News, our 24 hours news station.